Hi guys, my name is Kimia Andrew and I'm the pattern tutor. So for today's video, I'll be showing you how I drafted the pattern for this halter neck blouse. It's really something that I'm obsessed with. It has like a tie back, it has like a low back. I really like this top because it's something that doesn't take a lot of fabric. I think I didn't even use I didn't buy fabric. I just had like scraps of fabric left, and I decided, you know what, let me make use of that fabric because I really like the fabric, and I decided to make use of it. So this is something that you can use to reduce your waist. You can make like a bunch of these. If you make dresses, you made like tops or something, and you have like about a quarter, maybe like a yard remaining, half a yard remaining, you can use that for this top. So I'll be showing you how to draft the pattern for this top using some of the contouring steps that we've done in a previous video. I'll also be dropping a link in the description for the contour video in case you haven't seen that yet, so you will be able to follow us and know how we came about creating this. So yeah, you can see that there's no gaping around my armhole area, not because I tied it, but because the pattern is made to be that way. You can see where my neckline stops, right? So it doesn't gape. It's not like I pulled it all the way up. That's what I'll be showing you today, and let's get right in.
So let's start with my tools. I'm going to use my basic tools. So I have my pencil case, which has all my pencils, sharpeners, erasers, all of that are in the pencil case. Masking tape, measuring tape, even though I use my rulers a lot more often, and of course my basic bodice block front and back. So starting with my front, where all the work happens, I'm going to start by tracing out my block. I'll trace it out while pivoting my shoulder dart to my waist. I'm making sure to mark my pivot point, which is my bust point. I'm just transferring that to my paper before I'll now pivot my shoulder dart down to the waist. Next, I'll draw out my dart leg. Next, I'm going to widen my neckline at the shoulder neck point by 1 cm. I usually would do this most times because I don't want the neckline so close to my neck. And then I'll just blend that down to my neck base. Next, I'm going to apply the contour guide 8. This is at the mid shoulder point. So this usually takes care of that gaping that happens around the neck, like around that shoulder point side. It's a 0.5 cm contour guide. So you measure down 0.5 cm from the shoulder, and then you connect to the shoulder tip. So whatever you have that connects to the neckline, that's what you take off, as I've done. So to proceed, I had to mark out my bust radius, which I hadn't done. So the next contour guides I'll be using are 2 and 3. So for 2, I'm going to take I'm going to mark a straight line from the shoulder tip down to the bust point. Now on the bust radius, beside from the 2 line, you mark 1.3 cm, which is 0.5 cm. Connect it back to the bust point and connect it back to the shoulder tip. That's for 2. Then for 3, you draw a line from the armhole curve down to the bust point. Then still on the armhole, you mark a 0.5 cm measurement and you connect that back to the bust point. Now these are your contour guide marks. Now what's going to happen is you're going to draw out your neckline, and wherever your neckline touches the contour guide, that is what you're going to be taking from the contour guide. Let's do that. So for the shoulder width of my halter neck, I'm going to use 3 cm. That's usually what I would use. So mark 3 cm, and then using my armhole curve, I'm going to connect the 3 cm to my underarm point to create my halter neckline. Now again, wherever your neckline passes through the contour guide, that's the suppression you're taking. So all I'm doing is just marking the suppression so you know what we are dealing with. So these are the excesses, that's the gaping that I'll be taking care of where my neckline passes through my contour guides. I'm just redrawing the excesses, the suppression that I'll be taking with another color marker so you know what I'll be dealing with. So it's not just the green line that I'm just going to fold anyhow the line is. No, I have to work with whatever excess I'm dealing with regards to my neckline. I don't know if that makes sense. So I've cut out my pattern so that we can work on my contour. So first I'm going to slash and close all the excesses. So drawing a line through the mid of my waist dart, I'm going to slash to the bust point, and then for both 2 and 3, the contour guides, I'm going to slash and close both places. After taping them down, I'm going to blend my armhole before I proceed to cut out my neckline proper with my scissors. Now, if you're aiming to make just a simple halter neckline that is high, you've done your pattern. This is it. But we want to create a cowl to this halter neck, so I'm going to add that. I'll start by first moving all my darts. So my waist dart, I'm going to move it to my center front bust. So what I've done is to square a line from my center front to the bust point, which I would slash open, and then I will close my waist dart to move that waist dart to the center front bust. Next thing I'm going to do is to create the depth of my neckline. So however deep I want the neckline to be, that's what I'm going to mark. I'm going to create a V. So I think usually I would use like somewhere between 12 to 20. That's from the neck base measurement straight down. That depends on what you want to do. I don't want to go beyond my bust point level, because bust point level is like mid bust, so I don't want to go beyond that. Yeah, so that's why I have this measurement. So I'll take that out. That's my V, and that's going to be the depth of my neckline when I'm done. Depth of my cowl, I mean, when I'm done. Next are the slash lines for my outer volume that will create my drape. So I'm going to square out a line, just continue the center front bust line to the side seam, and then also from my armhole to between the dart and my neckline, which is about 1 cm. I have like about 1 cm measurement there, so I'm going to cut through these two lines and spread. So the aim is to ensure that my neckline ends at a square line from the center front line. So I'm using my ruler to make sure that that neckline ends up on a square line no matter what. So I have to spread it. I'm spreading for my volume, and at the same time I'm spreading to ensure that I have the depth of neckline that I want. I'm not just assuming. Once I'm happy with my pattern spread, I'll go ahead, tape everything down, and then draw out my neckline, add my facing, which is going to be 7 cm, and then I'll cut. So marking my facing, I use 7 cm from my neckline, but I would advise that if you have fabric, you can face either the whole top, or you can just extend your facing beyond your armhole. Since it's going to be a sleeveless garment, it's best to just nicely finish off that armhole with facing instead of using a bias. That's my personal opinion anyway. You can decide to just finish up your armhole with a bias. So for this top, I extended the length to my pelvic level, so just to give it a nice length. I didn't want to just stop it at the waist, at the natural waist. I wanted something longer, so I extended by 10 cm at the side seam. Then I squared a line through that point from the center front, so that I can have a line where I would use to mark my front pelvic measurement. So just the front abdomen, I will take that separately. For the front and back abdomen circumference, there will definitely be a difference because your front and your back are not the same, and usually the difference is about 1.3 cm on your quarter. So that's what I'll be taking from the measurement. I'll take from the front and add to the back to give that balance. So my total measurement was 85.5 cm. So for the front, I'll be dividing that by 4, which will give me 21.375 cm. And if I subtract 1.3 cm from that, I'm going to have 20.0 cm. So I'll be using 20.0 cm for my front abdomen. Mark that, connect that to the waist with a curve ruler, and then always blend your corners. I know my students, when they see this, they would laugh, but blending is very important. Then at the side seam, I mark up by 2 cm to give that nice curved bottom. If you want your hem to be balanced, you need to have a lift at the side seam. Next is to add allowances and cut. Now I'm going to take out the excess before my facing. Then I would fold my facing before adding the allowances. This is to ensure that my facing is cut exactly the same with the bodies, because the facing is going to fold anyway, so you'd want to keep that balance there. So the front of our pattern is done. Next we move on to the back. So for the back, I'm also going to start by tracing out my block. Now I already have the marking at my waist for my back shaping, and then at the neckline I'm going to mark 1 cm, so I'll connect that 1 cm to the 1.5 at the waistline, and then the broken line just signifies the area that I won't be using, and then the bold line is part of my body, so my back is going to stop at my bust line. I'm also going to extend the length of my back, of course, because it has to balance with the front. So I'm extending at the side seam by 10, but before I do that, I would take out my waist dart. So I'll measure whatever measurement I have. I think it was 3 cm. Mark that at the side seam, 3 cm, and then I would connect to the underarm point. Usually, if I was going to make this just a fitted top at the back, I would definitely have to contour number 7, that's at the side seam, take off 1 cm or 1.5, then I would extend my darts. But because I'm going to have an elastic band at the back of my top, it's going to be held together with an elastic band, I just connected that to the underarm, and whatever excess I have, the elastic band will take away. So I've already marked the 10 cm extension from the side seam. I will square a line from the center back, and remember that for the front we divided our abdomen circumference by 4 and subtracted 1.3 cm. So for the back we'll divide that by 4 and add 1.3 cm. So I'll be using 22.675 as my abdomen measurement for the back. For the back hem, I would extend at the center back by 2 cm. This is so that you would just accommodate the fact that you have a bum and your bum would lift the top up. So drop by 2 cm and then you connect back to that 2 cm lift at the side seam. So for my allowances, there's 2 cm at the side seam, 1.5 at the hem, 1.5 at the center back, and 1.5 at the neckline, which will be enough to insert my elastic band. Now for the strap, I'm just using whatever paper I have left. My strap width is going to be 3 cm to match my shoulder width. So 3 cm is going to be cut on a fold, but there's going to be a seam to join the bottom. So 3 cm first, and then I'll add my 1.5 cm for my sewing allowance. So my pattern is done. I have my back, I have my strap, and I have my front as well. For labeling, I'm going to draw the sign that indicates that my pattern is going to be cut on a bias. So both front and back are going to be cut on a bias. Oh yeah, by the way, even though my back is shaped and there's allowance at the back, doesn't mean there's going to be a zipper. So there's no zipper at my back, but it's going to be cut in a bias. So this just gives me a nice fit at the back. So here's a full look with the black top, which I'm obsessed with, and I also made a lilac dress, same pattern for the top. I just added the bubble bottom, which I'm obsessed with. And yeah, this is what you can do with that pattern.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you've gotten some information and knowledge from this process. I'm super excited to know how your pattern journey is going, so please make sure you drop comments in the comment section. Chat me up on Instagram at the pattern tutor or at Kim Andrew, and let's get to know each other. Let's build this community. Remember to like, share, send to someone you know that would need this information, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I look forward to giving out more of my knowledge, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.